Hello students, welcome to the next lecture of body fluids and circulation, and here in this lecture we will discuss about the mechanism of blood clotting or the detailed process of blood clotting. In our previous lecture we had discussed about the 13 type of factors which are going to take part in the process of blood clotting, and now the detailed mechanism of blood clotting. It is a very complex type of process and there are so many steps takes place in this process. First of all, this process is getting completed in major 3 steps. The first step is formation of prothrombin. Clear? So the first step is called as formation of prothrombin activator. So here is formation of prothrombin activator, and it is the longest process. This process is getting completed in 2 pathways. First pathway is extrinsic pathway and second one is intrinsic pathway, and this process is a multi-step process. And both of the pathways results into the formation of prothrombin activator. Yeah? So this is the process which takes place in 2 steps, that is extrinsic pathway and intrinsic pathway, and it is a multi-step process, and both of these pathways results in the formation of prothrombin activator. The second one is conversion of prothrombin into thrombin. Conversion of prothrombin into thrombin. Clear? So this is the second process in which prothrombin is getting converted into thrombin in the presence of prothrombin activator, which is formed in the first step, and calcium ion, which is the factor 4, is also responsible for this conversion. Third one is conversion of fibrinogen into fibrin. Fibrinogen is a soluble protein and fibrin is the insoluble protein. So this fibrinogen is getting converted into fibrin, and fibrin is the clot. Clear? So these are the 3 important steps in which the process of blood clotting is getting completed. We will discuss these processes in detail one by one. So the first process is formation of prothrombin activator, and 2 pathways are there. First one is extrinsic pathway and the second one is intrinsic pathway. So here firstly we are going to discuss about extrinsic pathway. This extrinsic pathway is getting started with the injured tissues. When the tissue is getting injured or when the platelets are getting injured, platelets are getting damaged, then this pathway will start. So here is injured tissue. This is injured tissue or damaged platelets. When the tissue gets injured, then tissue thromboplastin is getting activated. What is happening here? Tissue thromboplastin is getting activated. So injured tissue gets activate the tissue thromboplastin. This tissue thromboplastin, in the presence of factor 7 and factor 4, which is calcium ion, activate the factor 10. What will happening here? This tissue thromboplastin activate factor 10. It means inactive factor 10 gets converted into active factor 10, and this process is completing in the presence of factor 7 and factor 4, which is calcium ions. Okay, what will happen? Firstly, the tissue gets injured. Injured tissue activates the tissue thromboplastin, and this tissue thromboplastin, in the presence of factor 7 and factor 4, activates the factor 10. Now this factor 10 gets converted into prothrombin activator. This tissue thromboplastin is getting converted into prothrombin activator. So what is the next step? What is the formation is taking place? Here it forms the prothrombin activator. Clear? So this is the extrinsic pathway in which the prothrombin activator is getting formed. In this process, the pathway starts from the injured tissues. Clear? The second pathway is intrinsic pathway. So here I am writing about the intrinsic pathway. This is extrinsic and this is the intrinsic pathway. The second one is intrinsic pathway. This pathway also starts when the blood vessels get ruptured and the blood vessels comes in contact with the collagen fibers. Clear? What happens when the blood comes in contact with the collagen fibers of the blood vessels? So the process is starting when blood comes in contact with collagen fibers. Clear? Where the collagen fibers are present? These collagen fibers are present in the walls of blood vessels. Suppose this is the blood vessel and this is the wall of blood vessel. This wall of blood vessel is basically made up of collagen fibers. The tunica externa made up of collagen fibers. Clear? When the blood vessel is getting damaged, then the blood which is flowing in this vessel comes in contact with this collagen fiber. That's why it is called as intrinsic pathway, because the process is starting with the blood from the inner side. That's why it is the intrinsic pathway, and extrinsic pathway is started when the tissue is getting damaged. Clear? That's why that is called as extrinsic pathway. So here the process started when blood comes in the contact with collagen fibers, or when blood is exposed to collagen fibers. Now what will happen? This will result in the activation of factor 12. Clear? The inactivated factor 12. This is factor 12 in inactive form. This inactive form is getting converted into active form. This, when the blood is coming in contact with the collagen fibers, inactive 12th factor gets converted into active 12th factor. This is the active form. Clear? So the 12th factor is getting activated when the blood is coming in contact with the collagen fibers. Now what will happen? This activated factor 12 activates the factor 11. Clear? This factor 12 activates the factor 11. This is the inactive factor. We know that all the factors responsible for blood clotting are present in the inactivated form in the blood. Clear? And they are activated only when the tissue is getting damaged. So here this 11th factor is getting activated and it forms active 11. Clear? This active 11 activates the 9th factor in the presence of calcium ion. What will happen at next? This active 11th factor activates the 9th factor. This is inactive 9 and it is getting activated with the help of factor 11. So here the active 9 factor is there. In this process one more thing is required, that is calcium ion, means factor 4. So calcium ion is also required for the activation of 9th factor. Clear? Now this activated 9th factor activate the 10th factor. This will activate the 10th factor. This is inactive 10 and it is getting converted into active 10 in the presence of activated 9th factor. Now what will happen? The active 10 is getting produced. This active 10 is converted into prothrombin activator in the presence of factor 5. Clear? What will happen here? This is getting converted into prothrombin activator, which we have to form. This is prothrombin activator and this is formed in the presence of factor 5. Here is factor 5 and one more thing. One more thing is thromboplastin and phospholipids from the platelets. From the injured platelets, thromboplastin or injured blood vessels, thromboplastin is released. This thromboplastin and phospholipids of platelets helps in the formation of prothrombin activator, and this is the result of the reaction. We have to produce prothrombin activator. In this way, the prothrombin activator is formed by intrinsic pathway. In extrinsic pathway, the process is starting when the tissue is getting damaged, and in intrinsic pathway the process is starting when blood comes in contact with the collagen fibers of the blood vessels. Here the first step is getting completed. The second step is conversion of prothrombin into thrombin. The simple process, only the formation of prothrombin activator is a multi-step process and rest of the processes are the simple one. So here the next process, which is the second process, is conversion of prothrombin, which is the inactivated form, into active thrombin. Here, so what will happen? The inactivated prothrombin This is prothrombin is converted into activated thrombin, and the substance which triggered the reaction is prothrombin activator formed during the first reaction, and one more thing, that is calcium ion. So here the reaction is triggered with the help of prothrombin activator and calcium ions, which is the factor 4. Clear? So this is the conversion of prothrombin into thrombin. And the third process, which is called as conversion of fibrinogen into fibrin. Fibrinogen is the inactive soluble form and fibrin is the active insoluble form. So what will happen here? Fibrinogen is getting converted into fibrin. Clear? This fibrinogen is the soluble form. So this is the soluble form and this is insoluble form, and these are the monomers. Okay? Fibrin monomers are formed. These are the fibrin monomers. Here these fibrin monomers, by the process of polymerization, now this process is converted in the presence of thrombin. Thrombin, which is synthesized during the second step. This thrombin converts the fibrinogen into fibrin monomers. After that, this fibrin monomers are getting polymerized and they form fibrin polymers, and this fibrin polymer is insoluble blood clot. Now these are the thread-like structure, which is the blood clot. This process takes place in the presence of factor 13. So here factor 13 is required for the polymerization of fibrin monomers, and the reaction is polymerization. Clear? And it forms the fibrin polymers. Okay, and this fibrin polymer is the blood clot. This is like the structure. Suppose here it is the blood vessel which is getting damaged, and this is the blood clot. Clear? This is the blood clot is here. This is formed the blood clot, a net-like structure at the injured part. This is blood clot, or it is also called as thrombose. Thrombose. Clear? This is the process of blood clotting and the detailed mechanism of blood clotting. Here in this process you can see that one of the substance is activated by the another. All of the factors are getting participated and all the factors are activated one another. Clear? That's why this type of reaction is called as cascade mechanism. This is cascade mechanism in which one thing is getting activated by the another. Clear? That's why this is called as cascade mechanism. This is all about the process of blood clotting. In our next lecture, we will discuss about anticoagulants. Yeah? Thank you very much.